So I've been using the VGrow box for 25 days now, and let's just say something's really surprised me. From sprout to day 25, I've been documenting every step, tracking growth, dialing in the environment, and testing how this all-in-one grow box performs sitting just 6 feet away from me right over there. But is it easy to use? Is the plant growing good? And how have I actually used this grow box to grow in the last few weeks? Let me show you. But first, thanks to Vivosun for sending me this grow box. They hook up my viewers with a discount code. You can use code MrGrow15. That works on both their website and on Amazon. All right, let's check in on the plant here. See the inside conditions, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 72% humidity. And we've got ourselves a plant. Crack the humidity dome now that the plant has sprouted from the medium, so we get a little bit of airflow in there. I'm not going to leave the dome on much longer, but another day or so. Got it about 252 ppfd with the par meter directly next to the seedling, and I did bump that up from before. We're now up to 50% on the light. See the seedling stretch quite a bit. It's probably about a 2-inch stem right there. So knocking up that ppfd will help it. I think in the future I'll start off at 50% or even higher. I know there are many people out there that run it at 100% to begin, and growth for them is good without any burning. So maybe I'll just start at 100 light intensity moving forward. I don't know, what do you think? You can see the conditions out here, 83, a little bit higher than what I'd like. I think I have it set to 82, so I'm assuming the duct fan is on right now. Trying to get some cooler air in there. 71% humidity, good. Let's open this up and see what the plant looks like. All right, here we go. Seedling is looking pretty good there. A little bit on the stretchier side. That was from the first day when it initially sprouted. I had the light on 25%. I boosted up to 50% and it's getting about 250 ppfd now. Cocoa definitely looks still moist. The water level down here does show low, but I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna let this plant grow for a little while longer. Maybe even let the cocoa dry up a little bit. Not extreme, but some people really like to have the cocoa dry out for young seedlings or early veg plants because they want the roots to kind of spread, be searching for that water. So I think I'm going to hold up on filling up the reservoir just yet. We'll let this plant do its thing for a little while once we start to see this dry out here on the top. And I can even feel the weight a little bit. It definitely still feels pretty heavy right now. Once it starts to lighten up and I could tell that the medium could use a watering, I'll go ahead and water. All right, it is day 10 since sprout, and this plant is looking pretty good here. Everything's green, there's no yellow or anything like that. I'm really liking the growth on it so far for day 10. Humidifier is out. I'm gonna fill that up. I've been having to fill this up every day or so. Another thing that is out is the reservoir there. But like I mentioned before, I'm kind of gonna let this dry up a little bit. It's still got some pretty decent weight to it. I'm worried of the potential of overwatering this seedling now in cocoa. There is a misconception that you can't overwater cocoa. I've actually done it in the past, so that's why I'm saying it's a misconception. You can totally overwater cocoa, and I'm trying to avoid doing that right here. Especially as the plant is small, it is very fragile, and once you overwater a seedling, well, it's hard to get it to bounce back. Yeah, let's open up this bottom part here. Okay, so there's a little bit of water I see in there, but that's just in that bottom compartment. There's a little inlet there. I did end up hanging this down, so it's right next to the plant. You can see where I did it, right in the middle of the light, which is kind of a dead spot. There's no LEDs in that middle spot. Sure, this wire hanging across here might be blocking a little bit of light, but when I use my par meter, 250 ppfd is what is reaching the plant. That's exactly what I'm looking for in this stage of growth. I probably will come in here tomorrow though and fill up the reservoir. I am actually going out of town here for a long weekend. So definitely want to make sure this pot doesn't dry out. So I will fill up the reservoir tomorrow. One other thing I could talk about real quick. In the last episode I filmed on this, I had prepped the cocoa. And I was a little bit worried about the cocoa not being buffered. It was rinse, not buffered. I went in and kind of did my own buffering, not just with CalMag, but I did a low dose of nutrients. I'm happy to see that there's no yellowing if Oh, there we go, the lights just went out. It is the end of the light cycle now, it is in the dark period, so I'm gonna hurry up on this part. But one thing I will say is I'm happy to see that the plant is still green, it's not yellowing. If there was a problem with the cocoa, like I've had too salty of cocoa bricks in the past, even after rinsing and buffering, the plant still ended up being yellow. I'm not seeing any yellowing right now, so I'm really happy to see that. So I'm gonna assume I did everything right with this cocoa as far as preparation. I just filled up the humidifier. One last thing to mention real quick before I let the plant get its night cycle is after I refill the humidifier, you gotta hold down this M button right here hold it down for 3 seconds, and then it'll kick back on. There we go. I made the mistake of not doing that the first time I filled it up, and I came back the next day and it wasn't running and the humidifier was still full. So now I know every time I fill it, I have to hold down that button to get it to kick back on. I need a humidifier since I live in a very dry climate. Many of you don't need one because your climate is already humid. Just want to mention that one, and I'm wondering if the humidifier can be built into this instead of having it a separate piece of equipment. I'm not sure, but I figured I'd mention that as a potential improvement. It is day 12 here in the VGrow box, and I am about to leave for a long weekend. It is Thursday and I'm not going to be back until Sunday, so this is going to be on its own. I actually just filled up the reservoir here. The nutrient solution was 2 milliliters of A and 2 milliliters of B, so I got that in there. Filled up the humidifier. That's definitely going to run out. I've been having to fill that up every 24 hours, so I anticipate that running out. So this plant will probably experience low humidity for 1 to 2 days. But I think this plant should be just fine. It's looking really good for day 12. Still green all around, no signs of deficiencies. I'm really happy with how it's looking so far. So we'll check in once I get back from my long weekend away, and we'll see how this plant's doing. It is now Monday morning. It has been 4 days without seeing this. I had a great long weekend. Hope you guys had a great holiday. I know this video is going to come out towards the end of the month, but it was the July 4th holiday is what I just celebrated. And yeah, hope you guys all had a great weekend. Here we are, moment of truth. Is this plant still alive? If it is still alive, is it still healthy? Let's find out. I am not really nervous, actually. I don't feel, sometimes I feel a nervous feeling when I leave my plants, but I'm not feeling that nervousness right now. I feel like everything is going to be okay. I'm just going into it with a positive mindset. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh wow, it looks really good. It looks happy too, upright. Some good growth happening. For leaving it for several days and to come back and see this, I'm really, really happy. Like I mentioned, I did fill this with nutrient solution before I left, and it looks like we still have a bunch in there. This definitely makes it a lot easier when it comes to watering and feeding. Humidifier, this is out. I'm definitely gonna have to fill this up right now. I'll do this right now. Let's hold down the M button for a few seconds. All right, perfect, kick back on. Kind of the next things I have to keep in mind and really plan for is plant training. What do I want to do for plant training? I've done plant training so many different ways in the past. Do I just want to do low stress training where I'm bending it down in some way and letting those lower branches kind of establish themselves? Do I want to wait and let the plant grow a little bit longer? Right now it's on its 1, 2, 3, third node, fourth node, but I feel like it could grow for a little while longer, get a little bit more established. Sometimes I like to get it up to the 5th node, 6th node, then top down to the 5th node, 4th node, sometimes top down to the 3rd node, and then let it grow from there. That kind of helps those side branches kind of grow out, so I could have multiple branches instead of one main one coming up in this middle there. So I could do it a variety of ways. I think I'm just gonna let it grow for a little while longer. Let's get this stem a lot thicker. Let's let this plant get established a little bit more. And then I think I'm gonna do a topping. I'll probably top it, but yeah, it's got a little ways until I go that route. So yeah, that's the update for today. Happy to see that it's still alive and still healthy. And we'll give it a little bit and I'll check back in. Day 18, and many would say that we're out of the seedling stage, so I went ahead and changed it on the app from seedling to veg. See, I bumped it up to 75% intensity. It's in a veg spectrum. Still have it for 18-hour light cycle. 6 p.m. is when the lights come on, and then 12 p.m. the following day is when the lights turn off. And I did check my par meter to see we're getting a little bit over 400 ppfd right here now. I figured I'd give it a day or two under the 400 ppfd, and then I'm gonna bump that up even more because I do like to go 400 to 600 ppfd in the veg stage. I think she could definitely take some light right now, and I also think she could take some stash blend right now. So I mixed up some stash blend. I used it on some other plants. This is what I have remaining. This is actually 1 liter right here. So I'm just gonna pour this along the top. Nice and slow, we'll let it soak down. Oftentimes I do like to flood the medium, but with these fabric pots, it kind of drips out the side pretty often. So if I can slowly kind of pour it in the middle, it should work its way to the outside. There we go. All right, so 1 liter is in there. For this 3-gallon fabric pot, this should be fine. I did lift a pot prior to putting this in here, and it was pretty light. mean, the wick system is still working. We still got plenty of water left down there in the tank. But this being cocoa, this feeling pretty light when I was lifting it, I think it's gonna be able to take this liter as a soil drench, no problem. Stash blend has a ton of good stuff in it. It's got corn steep liquor, seaweed extract, mycorrhizal fungi, beneficial bacteria, humic acid, and silica. So a whole bunch of goodies. I refilled that humidifier as well, and some of you may have noticed that this actually is no longer affixed to the top. It actually fell off here, and one of the reasons why I think it happened is because when I went ahead and increased the lighting, unfortunately the entire temp inside this box increased up to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very high. I wasn't sure what the reason was for that. After looking into it a little bit more, somehow the duct was turned off entirely. I don't really know what happened there, but it is now on and the temperature has been decreasing. So right now it's at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It should lower down even more. I know the temperature is a concern for a lot of you folks, so it'll be interesting to see how this box handles the temperature. I don't think it has a compressor in this box, so I don't think there's any type of cooling that actually happens here. It really just brings in the air from your lung room or the room that the box is in. Maybe that would be a good future update for them, to add in a compressor or some sort of cooling. One other thing that I think would be nice to add in is CO2. Now I know adding in CO2, the supplementation, there are several ways to go about it. Some are more reliable than others. Obviously can't fit a CO2 tank in here, but if adding in CO2 isn't feasible, at least a monitor. You know, CO2 is one of the most important things for this plant, and I'd like to see what the amount of CO2 in this grow space is. So I'm gonna send it over to Vivosun for a suggestion, and yeah, hopefully you get some visibility on CO2. But yeah, even with that temperature spike, the plant still looks good. Green all around, growth doesn't appear to have slowed down at all. And yeah, we'll just keep it going. A little bit of water on the leaves here from pouring the stash blend over it. We'll get that off there, should be fine. Another thing I wanna do today is add in the grow cam. So I'm really excited to add this in. I'm gonna open up this box and see if we can get this installed, and then we can get some time lapses and really see the plants when I'm outside the house or in another room. So I'm gonna get this camera installed right now. I went ahead and stuck the sensor on the side instead of the top, since it did fall off of the top. I think it was probably from too much heat. Maybe I'll be able to put it back up there, but for right now I just have it hanging on the side. Ideal state would be for this to hang at canopy level, kind of within the canopy. So a lot of people will drop it straight down. But I think just off to the side, this is such a small space. I think the difference in temperature and humidity hanging it from there to there is gonna be minuscule. Maybe having the humidifier here might throw things off a little bit. Just push it off to the side, I guess. Again, so it's not directly blowing onto that. Maybe I can take this and put it on the back end instead, so the humidifier is not blowing directly up onto it. Not too sure, I'll figure it out. Not too worried about it right now. But yeah, I definitely want to get that temperature probe off the ground, at least hanging up in some way. In the supply box that came with the VGrow box are these right here. There are several of them. I just need one. Basically, they just attach to the side right here, just like that. And then I'm able to take the grow cam and just attach it just like that and adjust it down as needed. So I'm gonna adjust it, and then the plug goes from the back of the camera up to one of the top USB spots. All right, so going into USB 2 where I plugged it in, I set it to general and then turned it on. Please configure the network according to the instructions. Now it's asking me to connect it. Put it here to scan it. And it scanned it. Perfect, so now we have video here, and I can record a time lapse, but I need an SD card in order to record the time lapse. So I'll have to buy an SD card, and then we'll get some time lapses going in here. That's pretty cool. I went ahead and switched over, so the VGrow box components are on one garden, I guess they call it. So we've got the Grow Cam C4 and the Smart Box in one garden. So yeah, that makes things a lot easier. I didn't realize that I could do that. So now I have everything set up, and I can easily see what the temperature is, humidity is for only the VGrow box. But yeah, temperature is still kind of high here at 85 degrees. Hoping that this is going to drop here. That humidity is going upward as I've closed the tent door. KPA is a lot higher than I'd like for the veg stage. For seedling and veg, I do 0.8 to 1.2 KPA. So adding in the humidity will actually lower that number. And yeah, we'll just wait and see. Hopefully everything kind of regulates and fixes itself. And I have everything set up like I just spoke about. 75% light intensity in the veg stage, 18-hour light cycle. Circulator fan is actually on 8 on a manual. Duct fan, max speed is 10. It's on auto. temperature trigger 82.4 degrees, humidity trigger 75. Standby status speed 1. USB 1 is the humidifier, have that on auto. Humidity trigger, if it drops below 70%, it'll kick on. I'd like to see a VPD setting in here in the future. That way I can target a specific VPD and my humidifier will turn on or off according to that. And then USB 2 is the Grow Cam. That's on, and I need to go into Grow Cam in here to see that. So I'll pick up a micro SD card here in the future, and I'll see if I get some cool time lapses going. I ended up bumping it up to 100% light intensity on day 19, and it'll be at that for the rest of the grow. This room is pretty warm. I actually recently got a new computer, and this thing creates a lot of heat, which is in the same room as the grow box. Oftentimes it's in the high 70s, sometimes low 80s, so I'm really interested to see if this box is going to always run high temp inside it or what. There's not a whole lot I can do for cooling in this room, and I'd really like to avoid getting a portable AC. I don't have a good window to vent out of, and the additional watts would increase my electricity bill. We're in the middle of summer now, so that's definitely a factor. This probably won't be a problem in fall, winter, or spring, but long term I may move into a room that's cooler. Anyways, I'll think about that some more, but definitely wanted to bring this up for folks that are in a similar situation. It is day 25 and the plant is still looking very good. It's definitely time to top this plant. I want to get some of these side branches to grow out, and doing a topping will definitely help achieve that. I did just fill up the humidifier, so that's good to go. The water level is low. Need some more water in there. I've created a nutrient solution right here, and we're moving on to the veg nutrients. So still part A and part B. But we're up in the milliliters to 7 milliliters of A and 7 milliliters of B. This is 1 gallon right here, so I'm going to pour that into the reservoir, and then we're going to top the plant. Okay, nutrient solution added to the reservoir, and the ppm on the nutrient solution was just under 600 ppm. That's a 500 scale TDS tester, and I pH'd it to 5.9. Typical aim for 5.8, 5.9. If it's 6.0, I'm okay with that. Some people go up to 6.2. The general range is from 5.5 to 6.5, so there's a range there to stay in when growing in cocoa. I personally had really good luck staying at 5.8 pH every time. Okay, so getting in here and taking a look, the plant is currently at its 6th node. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to top it down to the 5th node. I know it's taken off a little bit of growth there, but I really do like to top at the 5th node and allow those lower branches to catch up. So I'm going to get in there with my trimmers and let's top it. So this whole piece was taken off. This is going to go into my compost pile, and this is what we have remaining. And some people might say, well, it's pretty aggressive, while other people say, nope, that's perfectly fine. But like I mentioned, this is going to allow these lower branches to catch up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different branches that could come out of this. So we're going to give it some time to recover. We'll see these branches start to grow out, and then we'll probably do some low stress training here to tie them down to the side of the container here. We'll get nice and wide. We're going to try to fill up this grow space, and then we'll go from there. If you want to see how this plant develops from here, click that subscribe button. I'll definitely have grow updates in the future on this, so stay tuned. On the outro card here, I'm going to link the previous video I did on this grow box. So click the screen right now to get to it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.